Everyone talks about the alpha, the leader, the dominant, the untouchable. But what if I told you the alpha wolf doesn't exist? What if the most powerful creature in the pack isn't feared, but followed? What if the greatest hunter waits, watches, and lets others eat first? And what if wolves, these cold, calculated predators, are not soldiers in a hierarchy, but parents in a family? This isn't just a story about wolves. It's a story about power that doesn't roar, about a structure that doesn't command. It nurtures, and about a rule you were never taught, but every wolf lives by. The term alpha wolf wasn't born in the wild. It was born in captivity. In the 1940s, researchers observed wolves in zoos, strangers, forced to share space, food, and fear. Conflict was inevitable. Dominance was visible. And the loudest, most aggressive wolf got a title, alpha. But in nature, real, wild nature, wolves don't fight to dominate. They bond to survive. What we thought was military hierarchy is actually a family tree. The alpha male is just the father. The alpha female, the mother. And the rest, their children. This isn't fiction. It's not romanticizing nature. It's biology. The leading wolf doesn't bark orders. He leads hunts. He watches his pups eat before he does. He doesn't rule through teeth, but through presence. True power in the wild doesn't command. It provides. And that's why the alpha myth is still dangerous. Because we keep projecting our own hunger for dominance onto animals that outgrew it millions of years ago. When people imagine wolves hunting, they picture a savage sprint, teeth, blood, chaos. But in truth, wolves are not driven by rage. They are driven by math. Every step, every angle, every breath is calculated. A wolf pack might follow a single elk for hours, not because it is hard to catch, but because it's not weak yet. They test it, push it, observe its breathing, its rhythm, its hesitation. And only when its will cracks does the chase begin. Wolves aren't reckless. One broken leg during a failed hunt means a hungry family. An unnecessary sprint wastes energy they may not recover, so they don't hunt like lions. They surround. They whisper in body language. They outthink, not overpower. This is why their eyes are always calculating. Not bloodthirsty. Focused. To a wolf, survival isn't won through aggression, but through restraint. What happens when you add wolves back into a forest? Not just fewer deer, not just more balance. You get trees where there were none. Birds return, the ground hardens, and rivers, yes, actual rivers, change course. It happened in Yellowstone. After 70 years without wolves, elk populations exploded. They overgrazed. They destroyed riverbanks. Forests died. Soil crumbled. Streams wandered aimlessly. Then came the wolves. And they didn't just kill elk, they moved them. Elk stopped lounging by rivers. Trees had a chance to grow. Trees brought songbirds, beavers, insects. Beavers built dams. Dams slowed water. The ground soaked it in, and rivers began to curve again. One predator didn't just restore balance. It reshaped the land. That's the unseen law. A true apex predator doesn't just take life. It reprograms it. In most species, leadership means dominance. Power through size, through threats, through obedience. But in a wolf pack, the leader is the one who nurtures. The one who finds food first and eats last. The one who howls not to control, but to locate. The one who raises, not rules. Their power isn't enforced. It's earned through memory, presence, and sacrifice. A father wolf doesn't sit on a throne. He carries tired pups in his mouth. He shares food with a limping sister. He lets the young test him in play. And when the time comes to lead the hunt, they follow, not out of fear, but trust. You won't see medals. You won't hear speeches. But behind every functioning wolf pack is a language of unspoken loyalty. And that's the unseen law. Real leadership doesn't demand submission. It creates belonging. We came looking for the alpha. We expected a general, a warlord, a tyrant in fur. What we found was a guardian, a provider, a memory keeper. Wolves don't rule with fear. They hold families together with trust. Their dominance is not the loudest bark. It's the quiet presence during hunger, the patient stillness during danger. They don't chase power, they carry weight. They carry one another. Their legacy is not in the kill, it's in the pups who learn to care. In the howl that brings the scattered back home. And that's the unseen law. True strength is invisible. It doesn't need to roar. It just stays. But maybe what wolves teach us goes even further than survival. Here's what happens when you stop watching them as animals and start seeing them as reflections of ourselves. We came here to study wolves, but somewhere along the way, we found ourselves. Behind the teeth, the fur, the howl, is something eerily familiar. We recognize the longing in their eyes, the way they circle back to the same place, the way they sleep pressed against each other, the way they pause, wait, and look back when one lags behind. That's not just instinct, that's memory, that's love, that's home. Wolves don't just hunt together. They raise, they mourn, they teach. A young wolf doesn't just learn how to kill. It learns how to care, how to read silence, how to move with others, how to give more than it takes. There's no formal school in the forest, but still, the lessons are clear, and they begin at birth. The father wolf doesn't lecture. He leads by showing. Every meal shared, every risk taken, every small delay for a limping pup is a message louder than any bark. We call this behavior animal instinct. But look closer. You'll see ritual. You'll see choice. You'll see morality without language. It's not civilization, but it's not chaos either. It's the raw framework of community. Stripped of words, but rich in meaning. Wolves don't chase status. They preserve structure. They don't dominate to feel powerful. They make space for others. An old wolf is never discarded. A sick pup is not abandoned. Strength is not measured in how much you take, but in how much you carry for someone else. And in this, don't they look like us? Or more precisely, don't they look like what we wish we were? A pack that moves with shared rhythm, that sacrifices without scoreboard, that protects without reward. We glorify lone wolves in our stories, but in the wild they don't last long. It's the bonded wolves, the connected ones, who shape generations. So maybe the reason the wolf myth stayed with us for centuries is because it's not just about them. It's about us, about what we lost, about what we still crave: family, loyalty, purpose, belonging. And that's the final unseen law. The wild doesn't only test your strength, it asks you what you stand for, and wolves answer that with who they protect.